All right, welcome back, team, for another weekly watch list. This week, man, this week was crazy. I mean, last week, we had so many stuff going on with the banking and regional banks, especially FRC, First Republic Bank, a San Francisco-based bank, which basically, there was so many rumors and stuff before. I think it was last month or so. We had this problem. I mean, they had this problem for so many times. I mean, their debts are enormous, and they've been looking for a survival button or someone to save them, which they kind of rely on the government. And then last Tuesday we had this headline came out, with the U.S. government currently unwilling to intervene on First Republic, which was the biggest one. And then we had this huge opportunity on the downside, especially on the short side, which I personally covered very too early, because I thought there must be some sort of a risk that can be adjust. It's hard to find, and I didn't want to really sit down and just trade. After few minutes, I realized there's actually no shares available in my end, and things just got diluted. Things just got, I mean, FRC just got faded. Crazy. Well, I mean, beside the FRC, we had other stuff going on, which I'm gonna talk about it. But yeah, I mean, it's been a ride for the banking. It's shifting from AI trend, all these hot kind of technology companies, and then went back to the banking, which caused by FRC basically. And then we had so many others, Chinese investment firms, or AKA, kind of like a boiler room stuff that has been going on in overseas over that area, which very unclear. And we had this big squeeze on top, which I'm going to talk about that as well. Our watch list relatively more than other weeks. I mean, I put together the information that I kind of rely on, and I'm looking forward for the upcoming week, and all the tickers that I'm thinking that has potential for continuation. However, this week is a new month. We're getting to the month of May, and things can change again. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about before I start going over the watch list is, how do you detect a cycle change? How do you track? What are the what would be the best or hot activity throughout the years, or hot trends for that specific month? For example, I do have a very interesting screenshot of this kind of the sector change, or what exactly usually happen for the market cycle. And that is, if you're talking about January, we usually have that hot market. February, but this not just necessarily means that it will happen. It's just relatively used to be like this, or it is like this, or 80% like this. I mean, as you can see, April, especially this April, we had kind of a hotter market instead of being a slow market. I mean, April relatively is slow based on this data I gather, but that's what I meant by this doesn't necessarily means that we will have same exact kind of cycle going on. But thing on the side is, we're going to the May. We have to keep that in mind. There is some sort of past cycle with this. There might be a slowness in the market again, which we saw at the end of the April kind of market shift drastically again. So these are the things that maybe you could start tracking down. Put a sheet up on an Excel sheet or whatever. Just write down, see every day that we had all these tickers that are going on. Write down all the sectors that are moving for that specific day, and then at the end of the week you can kind of put them together, and at the end of the month you go over them and see what was the best sector for that month. I mean, that's kind of like seeing what sectors were running, but we're looking for overall market activity. We're seeing that, okay, if we have all these tickers going on, different sectors in 1 month, what would cause them? Was it volume or insider activities or so many different catalysts that we never seen in the market? So those are the things that you can put together and then just mark that thing for that month and see if that's going to happen for the next year. So that's how you can kind of track down the cycle and get yourself ready for the next month. This will help you to be prepared when the month starts. How do you really position sizing, your risk management, your you might see that, okay, I know that relatively May it's slow month, so I'm not gonna go too crazy. I'm not gonna go too big. I'll try to trade only few days a week. I'm not gonna trade every single day on the trading days. So these are the things that you can kind of like put together, and it really helps you to be consistent and make sure to know what exactly you're doing, and what your mindset is towards that month. Like I said, it could change. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're gonna have slow month of May, but relatively the market cycle showed us that May it's slow. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe this May this year is definitely different. So you can kind of have that mindset every time that you start trading at the beginning of the month. So anyway, let's get started with our watch list. But before I start, as always, this is all for educational purposes. It's not a financial advice. If you like it, watch until the end. If you don't like it, just shut it and move on to different videos if you prefer to. So, man, I just talk about the FRC. FRC, obviously not my cup of tea anymore. I don't really like when the stock is it's on the top and everyone's are looking at it. There's gonna be lots of volatility in terms of unclear direction. Either they're gonna save them or not. We might see this crazy downturn towards this FRC. I mean, they're really going for the bankruptcy, and pretty much it's pretty much clear that what kind of future they're gonna have, unless they're still trying to find the solution or find some bigger banks to save them. But I guess that will definitely take time. It's something that can be clear out by next week possibly, or at the mid May. In my opinion, that's how it's gonna plays out with FRC. But this is definitely not something to really mess around with. It can get squeezed back up, lots of volatility, but it was a great short from the news on Tuesday that came out, the headline that came out, And if you were be able to take that opportunity, you would definitely could have kind of like swing that. I mean, it's definitely riskier, but the probability of being a successful trade was higher than being a losing trade. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the number one shortest squeeze of the, I think so far this year. After I think CXAI, we had that, or before we had a few others. I don't remember exactly, but we talked about it. I mean, if you go back to the previous weekly watch list videos, you might find it. But so far, top was actually a big manipulated manipulated one, which basically means there are more, well, you can kind of see that there are more than 85% insider ownership in this. And I mean, that's a strange when they kind of they came out with a statement basically saying that they mentioned that in the statement, we caution investors and all other persons to rely solely on statements and filing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), issued by the company itself or its authorized representatives. So I mean, you can kind of see all the red flags that are going on with this stock. I mean, first of all, it's a Chinese, um, and usually they're very famous for the pump and dump, as we discussed many times. And this was definitely some sort of insider activities in this, in my opinion. It added the company does not intend to make further statement regarding this matter. So in their point of view, we're seeing that kind of this trigger on Friday, and it's a low float stock. We're kind of seeing that shift or attention. This was a kind of a attention off of the FRC action. They kind of wanted to advertise their own financial services in China. So a lot of people, a lot of investors saw that as an opportunity, and they definitely got a stock at the moment, I think, and they just wanted to pump this much higher as possible. I mean, the stock came out around $6. Stock was trading at $6, and all of a sudden we had this big squeeze into the actually after hour. Into the after hour activity, which is very not, I would say, not unusual, but for this stock is very unusual. But it's a classic pump. You gotta kind of understand that this stuff happening, and if you're smart enough and if you know what exactly you're doing, you just trade that and walk away. That's how and a smart trader do. They don't get a stock. And if you're short, I mean, you're seeing this huge, I mean, I saw that many shorts, they blew out their accounts. They're just wiped out so easy. This stuff can really wipe you out if you don't know exactly what you're doing, and you're on the front side and you're shorting this, and you get stuck. I mean, obviously it's very tough. First of all, because the spread is too high, and the stock is only have 5 million shares. 5 million float. So all these red flags are adding up. Why would you even short something that it shows so much activities when the stock is pumping? It's definitely a no-go. I mean, there are many times that shorts could really get a stop out and have a relief, but as we always know, some shorts, some big institutions, they don't really exit their position that easy. So it gets very tough when it comes down to risk management, and sadly, not a lot of people are knowing that much. And also, we had this huge gap up into the after hours, so we're not dealing with. That's also suspicious. I mean, you can kind of see why. They don't really, obviously they don't really show that, they don't really mention anything from their side, from their end, any activities from their end, and they kind of mention that this was, what is it? It's just rely on SECs. I mean, it's all bull crap in my opinion. You can kind of see this is a classic pump and dump, and there's no oversight over their the Chinese that much. So I mean, that's a deep conversation. I really don't want to get into it, but keep that in mind. It's when it comes down to risk management, and also when you get into that, and there's no halt in after hours or pre-market, so things can get really out of control, choppy, if you don't know what's going on. I mean, this stock it moves. It was moving dollar by dollar, so you can get margin calls so quickly if you are on the short side, obviously. So yeah, that was a tough one for a lot of shorts, obviously. And then on the long side, this was a great success. I personally wasn't, obviously you guys know that I don't trade after hours. I don't care. I saw what happened the day after, and we had this, I saw the after hour activity, and I mentioned it in our channel. But the day after was more important for me to see what exactly where is the direction of this one. And so far we had seen that crazy profit taking. Obviously it's the right thing to do, and you have no when your plan is just trading and lots of trader behind this, they want to take profit. I mean, this stock ran up 400%. So that's a supernova activity. Well, actually, more than that. If you take a look at, let's say we have this from $6 range. We're talking about, let's take a look. $7. Let's say $7 to 280. This is almost a 3,000%, right? In just one trading day. So another one, we always seen these type of activities, which is really great when it comes down to trading them on the long side also, and also on the short side if you know exactly the timing. But obviously it's riskier, and you need to have an established account and a really good broker to borrow shares, and you won't be able to find shares on goofy platforms. But yeah, that's what happened. And then the next day we had this crazy kind of a dead cat bounce and continuation. And this was during the day. This was a halt festival, which I hated. I don't like a stock with have that kind of halt festival. This is not, I mean, obviously it's not my cup of tea when the stock keeps getting halted. But yeah, that was a great bounce. Lots of covering took place, and lots of dip buyers and all together, and then create that double top. It didn't even hit that new highs. Definitely got dumped by a big order before even hit that top. So yeah. Rest in peace for those people that bought it at here, because they clearly are degenerates. They don't exactly don't know how to trade. They're just chasing up here. So yeah, I don't have it. I didn't put it on the on our main watch list because I don't care about this stock anymore. I just don't see anything that I like about it. It's just at this point is you have to keep that in mind. This is purely in a scalp. This is purely it's just momentum trade, and you need to make sure if you're trading this just in and out very quick, and not sitting and scaling into the position. So that's very risky, and I do not recommend. But yeah, as far as other things on our watches, and this one top is obviously it's in our back pocket watch list, but it's definitely not what I'm looking for. Main watch, we have UCAR. That was my best trade for the week, actually. Even though I was traveling, I was on my travel setup, which I don't personally like that to do. But I mean, it is the only option I have, because on my travel setup, I usually not being able to see so many activities. I only focus on one or two, and that's it, which is I normally do. But I still, watch what exactly going on with other movers. Not necessarily means that I would trade them. Obviously not. But yeah, that's how I usually trade for the with the travel setup. But yeah, USCAR, one of those Chinese IPO. I put it on the main watch list because I'm seeing this shift towards another Chinese activity again, and especially in with the banking kind of thing. So we might perhaps see more of a more of an activity towards the Chinese stock. Doesn't necessarily mean that has to be in the same sector, in the financial sector. So UCAR is actually a consumer sector, Chinese IPO. It gets all that. But it was very easy in terms of seeing a dip and kind of price stability in this one, because the stock was very overpriced at the IPO. I don't usually trade right off the IPO. I don't like to do that because I mean you can kind of see that this was a this was an overpriced kind of IPO range. So we saw the surge, and it's very unclear. You don't have any history. It's too risky. So after a few days, you kind of see that it's established, much diluted, lots of sell off, lots of selling pressure took place. But after kind of few days, gets to that range of price stability, kind of like a U shape kind of thing. That's why I traded right off that $5 bounce, which was very solid in terms of trading. Kind of like a dip range. That was my trade on this one. For the I think it was where was it? For Thursday. Yeah, Thursday was a solid one. You kind of find that discounted price, new buyers, lots of covering obviously, and then it's still in that range of higher low. However, shorts are back again to this $8 range. But UCAR, yeah, if yeah, UCAR, it's just I put it up here to see if that continuation or dip buy. I still like this one on the long side, even though I completely missed out on the short side after that $10 hit here on Monday. But yeah, that discount bounce definitely on my watch. I don't see any news. I think we should kind of wait on press release on this one, and yeah, the reason that I've kind of like having this on our main watch is I just see that money flow change towards these Chinese, as I mentioned, Chinese pump. So that's kind of a theme of the. That's my would say my thesis for the upcoming week. I want to see this if we are going to see the same tickers going on for this week, the 1st of May, or obviously we might see more new tickers for the coming week. Yeah, that's UCAR. I have it on the watch, and CXAI. I actually kind of like this action. Actually, we talked about CXAI. It was another short squeeze that we had, I think, last 2 weeks. In the previous week, if you pull up here, we had this huge squeeze up to that 69 level, and so that was another kind of pumper for that week that we discussed in our previous weekly watches video. Yeah, so I noticed this first pump towards this massive short squeeze back in that time, and then it definitely after that it creates lots of desperate degenerates, people that are buying at the top, kind of like trying to get into that average down game and pump this higher if they possibly can, or get into that well, basically a mix with kind of shorts cover as well. So that's why we're seeing this CXAI trading in that range, to find that kind of a correct price range for itself. They also had a merger going on, which basically their sponsor, which is the merger, has 6.6 million Class A shares. So this is something this is a topic that I usually talk about it in my one-on-one session with a student, because this is dive deep into the filings and kind of understand how to read these stuff in a very brief and quick way to have a understanding of what's going on with the company, not really spending much time on them, but that's very optional, obviously, if you think that you can kind of get into the details of the company for more of a like swing kind of ideas. Like this week also, I haven't put any swing ideas for past week, as you guys seen in the channel. I also talk about it. I don't necessarily see anything interesting for swing especially, but this CXAI is kind of interesting because they have this tech. Their financials still profitable. They're profitable a little bit, and they're kind of in that whole idea of a rework. That's what their solution is. I think if you go to their website, you can kind of see that what they offer. It's more of a it's kind of like a rework. I haven't really dived deep into the company because I don't really care about that, but that's a very interesting thing to note in terms of if you want to kind of have a midterm swing ideas on this. But I'm still not convinced if I'm going to think about it this way, maybe at the lower price range. But the reason is because this is very a micro float, only 94 million, 900,000 shares available, but 80% institutional ownership. So that's kind of a positive things in towards the long side. But as far as the merger that they have going on, the sponsor have 6.6 million Class A shares and 5.5 million Class C shares. Class C shares have some limitation on transferring and will change into Class A shares either 180 days after the merger, the date of merger, or when the Class A share price reaches to $12 or more for 20 days within the 30 days, trading day, basically, in the market. So that's a very technical or fundamental level. It's very, very, very fundamental. So basically means that they either have to reach that $12 range to meet that. I think that's already kind of happened as the stock is in that range. But yeah, that's something to keep that in mind. The merger is still going on. So the reason that I put it on our watch list, I think there's still some juice left. Volume is solid relatively, and it can really get some activities for the upcoming week. That's our two main watch lists I have, and the rest is purely back pockets. We had INAB, which was a great kind of a short setup. I'm looking for that, kind of see if there will be any activities on this one. They came out with the news, announced their oral presentation. This is a biotech, and phase 1 data to be presented at 2023 ESCO annual meeting. I think they will have conference or meeting soon. Not sure exactly when that take place. Yeah, it's June 26. So that's something to keep that in mind. I mean, they usually pump their price to have a better look in front of the investors. So obviously that's something to keep that in mind. Stock has been faded nicely after that kind of like almost $4 mark, and so far in that range, lower high, and it's creating that kind of U shape. That's why I kind of want to see if this week we're gonna have more volume going on with this, and it can really create that bounce point. This is kind of a good area to create that bounce point if ever happen. So I have it on the back pocket, and rest is relatively banking. I'm on that sector mainly, but this one is also very. This is another biotech. I have it on our back pocket watch list. They came out with the announced a program, FDA's phase 3, and stuff like that again. Also, they announced the reverse stock split, so that's something to keep that in mind. I like this stock on the technical side. I mean, this is not really my cup of tea again. I don't really like this price range, micro cap, and it's just kind of like a deadbeat. I don't want to mess around with this kind of stock. But yeah, they had another. Yeah, they have this phase 3 kind of program going on. So yeah, that I put it on the watch list because it's relatively lower float, mid float, 16 million, and low institutional ownership. So it can be a really good short candidate in my opinion. But we'll see how this goes. And the next one, it's banking. It's only small, regional banking. So PACW, we had this one with other FRC and all that. I think this PACW is also a Californian bank. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, it is a Los Angeles bank, California bank, basically, and they say deposit now stable after Trumbull slammed the stock. So that's kind of their headline. I want to keep on watch on all these banking because you can see that shift with the price action, and they can create good opportunities for trade when the stuff happening with FRC and all the other banks, so they can get they get affected by the overall trend. So that's why I put it on our watch list. And then another one is SAI. It's a Chinese one. Still with the it's a Singaporean. I don't know. It's like a Singaporean bank that works with the mining. And yeah, I think that's what they do. Not really care about that, but on the sector side, top SAI. I mean, these are the stuff that it's better if you have it on your back pocket and see how they plays out. If they're gonna have another run up. Well, that this one relatively lower volume. I don't mess around with it if volume continue be like this. Definitely I need to see if you're going to see more of a volume surge. And yeah, so I'm looking for both side of this to see how this is going to play out. And then at ATOM, this was another one. Came out with a signed deal to use a new cheap making material. This is I think it's different sector. It's a semiconductor sector. So yeah, I mean, I traded this actually. I traded this on the short side and the long side. Not really liking that both trade that I made on this one. But yeah, I have it on our watch list to see kind of if it gets volume. I mean, the volume relatively were good after their earning, so it's kind of like a post-earning trade. If they're gonna get higher, or they create a good short opportunities, if they set for that first resistant kind of thing. So that's why I have it. And then HKD, the old runner one, I have this one on our back pocket too. I kind of like this one. I scalped this on the Friday, on the long side, obviously. And stock still, have that consolidation below the VWAP range. They came out with the news as well, which is very hard to understand what exactly the news is, in my opinion, because I think there's a lot of vague or French word that use larry-vous des in Singapore with low official. Yeah, I mean, I posted news on our weekly watches email, and I kind of like this one. If the stock get back above the VWAP range, still have that resistance back down, waiting for that. If the death cross happen, we might see this one pull back to $6 range. There's a really good gap on the downside if the stock doesn't continue, but it's also a Hong Kong company, so sector related. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this weekly watch list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, I love to see, I love to hear if you have any question. Put a comment down below this video, or reach out to me. And if you need to, get on the board with me, one-on-one session, I'll dive deep into all these details and all this strategy that I personally use towards my trade. So you can kind of learn and adapt and create your own strategy. That's the goal. People should realize that copying other people, it's not the theme, and that's not the right way to do. So anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and enjoy this session. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, Monday morning, Money Monday. Take care, team.